Simply Shay, Simply Shay.
Hey Shay with the word of the day. Rumble with the things you say. It's your girl Simply Shay. This feels the word of the day. It's Simply Shay. It's Simply Shay. It's Simply Shay.
Simply Shay, Simply Shay. Shay, 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 Shay.
Simply Shay.
Simply Shay, Simply Shay, Simply Shay.
What's up, Shay Base? It's your girl Simply Shay here with yet another video for our segment, Ladies Corner. Today's word of the day is going to be snatch me out. So without further ado, let's go. Alright ladies, as I said, today's word of the day is going to be snatch me out. So I want to use for a subject the story of Jonah. For those of you guys who don't know, Jonah is a super short book, so you can read it in maybe 15 minutes. But basically Jonah was given specific instructions from God to go and deliver a word of warning to the city of Nineveh. And Jonah instead fled, ended up causing a bunch of turmoil to other people on his adventure, I guess, to fleeing from being obedient to God, ended up being eaten by a fish and having to turn to God, anyway and deliver the message. And so the way that God gave this to me, when you think about the story of Jonah, Jonah was given a simple task. Hey, this is a word. I need you to go deliver this word to this specific group of people. It's a matter of life and death. Super simple. Hey, I need you to go do my work. Hey, you're up, Jonah. It's time for you to pull your weight here. And Jonah, being of flesh, Jonah, being afraid and, God, I don't really want to do this, Lord. Why are you asking me to do it? How many, we get into those moments, but God, why I got to do it? But Lord, why are you telling me to let this thing go? But God, why are you telling me to go say this to this person? But God, why are you telling me I got to be obedient and let this go when he or she, is holding on to that? Or he or she, let them have this blessing. Why are you telling me I got to let go what I think is a blessing for me? This is Jonah. In the process of Jonah fleeing, Jonah gets on a boat to go somewhere in the opposite direction of where he's supposed to go. And God causes a storm, basically, to come. And the whole time the people that are on the boat with Jonah is trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Who done made God mad? Whose God is it that's angry? And Jonah is at the bottom of the boat sleeping during this just terrible storm. And so not only did Jonah's disobedience put himself at risk, but Jonah's disobedience put those connected to him and their life at risk as well. Their purpose at risk as well. God's anger wasn't just upon him, but his anger was upon everybody that was connected to him in that moment. And so as it went, and they really finally figured out, that it was Jonah who made God mad, and that was the reason why everything was going on with the boat. They threw Jonah all over, and a fish ended up eating him. In the midst of the fish eating him, when you read it, one thing that really stuck out to me was how Jonah just began to say how he was just like entangled in seaweed and just in this just dark, terrible place. He could barely move, It's like, dang, I can't breathe. I done got myself entangled into something that I don't really even know much about. I don't even really know where I am right now. I don't know whether I'm coming or whether I'm going right now. I don't really know what's going on. And a lot of us get to these places in life when we become disobedient to God. God tells you to let go of that man or let go of that woman, and you're disobedient and find yourself in a dangerous situation or in a chaotic situation or in a situation where your mind is just so warped and so messed up you can't even hear the voice of God clearly anymore. God tells you to move here or go and say this to this person, and because you're afraid, because you don't feel like it, because whatever your personal reason is, you're disobedient and you end up missing out on a blessing that could have saved your life. We get in these situations where God tells us to do things, where God tells us to let go of things, where God gives us a way out of situations that we don't even realize are turning bad. And because we don't see it, because we don't understand the significance of what it is that he's telling us. Oh, can't nothing that bad happen for me not listening to this. Oh, it's fine, I can change him. Oh, it's fine, they won't hurt me. Oh, it's fine, this won't happen again, or whatever the case may be. God can be waving a huge banner in your face saying, let that man go. Hey daughter, I need you to move now. Hey son, I need you to go here. Hey daughter, I need you to deliver this message. Hey, I need you to move to this city. Hey, I need you to quit this job. Hey, I need you to sacrifice this thing for me. I need you to move now. Hey, I need you to make good on the promise that you just want to make me happy. Hey, I need you to make good on the promise that you just want me to have my way in your life. I need you to make good on the promise that my desires mean more than your desires. And we're disobedient. And our disobedience not only affects us, but it affects those connected to us. It causes turmoil and hurt and pain for those around us. Because we were disobedient, now our children have to suffer. Because we were disobedient, now our parents are suffering. Now our siblings, now our friends, now our significant other. Now the people that are connected to us are in a place of stagnation, in a place of being just in a whirlpool, because you've angered God. Now we are become so isolated by those people, because now they realize, oh God, Lord, she playing with you and I ain't trying to play with you, God. There's a place that I have to be. God, there's a place I'm trying to get to in you. There's a place I'm trying to maintain in you. He or she need to go on about their business. Now we're in a place of loneliness. Now we're in a place where we're so wrapped up in our sin. We're so wrapped up in our disobedience. We're so wrapped up in a person. We're so wrapped up in a thing that we can't even see straight. We can't even hear God and concentrate on the voice of God anymore. We don't know whether we're coming or going. We don't know, where we are at this point. My word of encouragement to you is to turn back to God. Jonah had to get to a place in that fish where he had to cry out to God, where he had to go and seek God, because God had already sought him. God had already come to him and said, hey, what's up, man? Look, this is what I need you to do. I need you to go and make, they had already had this meeting. God had already come down to Jonah's level and said, all right, hey, this is what I need from you. It was Jonah's turn, because he was disobedient, to now come and be at God's feet. It's your time now to get to God's feet. It's your time now to scramble to get to God's feet, because God is the only one that can snatch you out of the entanglement that you've gotten yourself in. God is the only one that can reach down in and snatch you out and pull you out of the situationship that you've gotten yourself in. God is the only one that can come in and snatch you out and cause the fish to vomit you up that has swallowed you. Your problem has swallowed you right now. Because of your disobedience, because of your lack of consistency with God, because of you being afraid of whether you really heard God or not, or whatever the case was, you not wanting to release what he was telling you to release, whatever the reasoning behind the disobedience, you were swallowed up by your problem. You were swallowed up by the very thing that God told you to let go of. You were swallowed up by the very thing that God told you to sacrifice. You were swallowed up by the very thing that God told you and tried to save you from. The very thing that God showed you was going to mess you over. The very person that God showed you wasn't good for you. The very situation that God tried to save you from. The job, the person, the city, whatever it is. Because of your disobedience, that thing swallowed you up. Now, God was gracious enough not to allow it to digest you, because Jonah was in that well for 3 days. Or in the fish, I'm sorry. For 3 days. I don't really know how digestions for that type of fish, we don't even really know what type of fish it was, work. But that sounds like a long time to say that the stomach acid in it hadn't eaten him up. That just the way that normal bodies work, that he hadn't been digested yet. You can't tell me that God still wasn't covering him even in the midst of his disobedience. So God's grace is sufficient enough, and he loves us enough to cover us in the midst of our disobedience and to give us some form of protection so that our problem may swallow us but not digest us. But you're still swallowed. You're still in a dark place. You're still in a place where you can't reach your blessings and your blessings can't reach you. You can't reach your breakthrough and your breakthrough can't reach you. It's not until you cry out to God and ask for God to snatch you out. It's not until you say, all right, God, listen, I know that you told me that this person wasn't for me and I didn't listen, but now I'm ready to believe you. All right, God, I know you told me it was time for me to move and I really just didn't want to because I was comfortable here, but I see why and now I'm ready to move. Lord God, I know you told me to leave this job and I really, just didn't understand how you were going to be able to provide for me or really know if I heard you correctly, but I'm ready to do it. Lord God, I know you told me to leave this family member alone, to let this friendship go, to let this person go, Lord God, but I didn't believe you. I didn't think that they'd do it again, God, but I believe you now. So I want to read for you guys the part that really stuck out to me. And it's Jonah 2, 9 and 10, and it says, 8 and 10, I'm sorry. It says, those who regard worthless idols forsake their own mercy, but I will sacrifice to you with the voice of thanksgiving. I will pay what I vowed. Salvation is of the Lord. So the Lord spoke to the fish, and it vomited Jonah onto dry land. And I was just like, wow, Lord. He was in there for 3 days. And all it took was him to say, all right, God, you win. It took this man 3 days in a fish that I can only imagine how it smelled. I can only imagine what it felt like, the motion sickness and just everything that accompanied with that. It took him 3 days just to say, all right, God, you win. You know what? My bad. I'm ready to listen now. You know what? Yeah, you did tell me, that man was no good and you was right. You did say that I should have moved and now I'm in debt and I see why. You did tell me that I should have moved to another job and quit my job, that you had something better for me, and now I'm still struggling and I see why. I'm ready to listen now. God, you did tell me to stop talking to this family member and stop sharing things with this person, and they done told all my business and I see why. Lord God, before this problem swallowed me up, you told me that this problem had the possibility to swallow me up. My bad. Can I get a do-over? Can you run that back? Can we run that back? But that's all it took was him to say, all right, God, I'm sorry. I'll do your will. Now, I can only imagine the process of being vomited up by a fish. I don't think that that was fun. I don't think that felt really great. I'm sure it might have hurt, might have been uncomfortable, might have smelled even worse than it did when you were in the stomach, because I just can't imagine being vomited up by a fish. So the process of him snatching you out may be uncomfortable. You may get whiplash. He might snatch you out so quick that you, whoa, God, whoa, what just happened? You know what I mean? He may snatch you out so quick that you can't breathe. You gotta, let me catch my breath. The process of snatching you out probably is going to be uncomfortable. It's probably going to take a little bit more work than if you would have just been obedient. But God is gracious enough, loves us enough, is merciful enough to give us the opportunity to get it right. To give us the opportunity to do it over the right way. And that is my prayer for you guys. That is what I declare and decree over each and every one of you guys watching this video, that God snatches you out of the belly of your problems. That whatever it is that you didn't take heed over, whatever it is that you may have misunderstood, may have, been ruled by fear, whatever the case may be, that God reaches down deep and snatches you out of it. All it takes is for you to ask him to. All it takes is for you to reach your hand up to meet his. Because his is already out there. All right, look, I already came to meet you. I came to your house. I came to meet you already. I just need you to reach out to me now. I need you to counter my offer. Say whether you accept or decline. I need you to say whether you accept or decline. So I encourage you guys, any of you guys that feel like you are in the belly of a problem, like you are just surrounded by just chaos and overwhelmed, ask yourself, okay, hey, is this something that I put on myself? Or is this just God building me? And whatever the answer is, God can still snatch you out. God can snatch you out of anything. It doesn't just have to be self-made problems, but the root of it is going to determine how he pulls you out. Because for things that are just making, things that are just meant to build you, things that are just, normal growing pains, you can ask God to snatch you out in such a way of, God, give me the endurance and snatch me out when you're ready. God, give me the strength to endure and snatch me out when you're ready. But when it's a disobedient type problem, when you've been swallowed up by the problem because you were disobedient and are actually drowning in the problem, it's the difference when the problem is around you and you're kind of just growing pain than when you're swallowed up by it. When you're swallowed up by it due to disobedience, God can snatch you out immediately. That's something that God has been dealing with me a lot about. We talk a lot in church about suddenly. I hear a lot of people talking about, and suddenly this. But God has been dealing with me a lot about having immediate type faith. Immediately, he did this. Immediately, he did that. Lord, immediately, I believe that you can do this. Immediately, I believe that you can do that. And so my prayer and my declaration over you all is that God will snatch you out immediately. Listen, Shay Base, it is so important that we are obedient to God. I talk to you guys about obedience all the time. It is a dangerous place to be disobedient to God. It is a dangerous place to find you in yourself in. It's a dangerous place to just be caught in. It's like being caught with your pants down. That disobedience is a dangerous thing, and it can cause you to be placed somewhere years behind schedule. It can cause you to be placed in a situation or cause you to be placed in a place that you were supposed to be 5 years ago, 5 years later. So I encourage you all, get to a place with God. Get to a place with him where you have an immediately type faith. Get to a place with him where it's important for you to be obedient. Get to a place with him where your obedience means more than anything else. Listen, Shay Base, I love you all so very, very much. I hope that you guys got something from this video. I hope that it was something that was of substance to you. Remember, continue to grow and glow. Bye.